I don't believe we ever showed the old version of Dominion, but in the lead up to the closed alpha, we added a brand new town as well as the first major safe zone. Now, these were added relatively quickly. We like to do an iterative process when we add places to the world. So the original version of Dominion was really high up on a big old hill, with all the different elements of it spread out really far. It wasn't really the best place to travel around, but it was kind of an initial, hey, let's just get this set up and give it a try approach. Then we took a ton of feedback from players, and this is version 2. This here is the far more condensed and player-friendly version of Dominion.
Well, I like the location. It seems like it's a lot more protected. I mean, if this is going to be like a safe area, like kind of like a safe haven type place, it's in like a little valley. It seems very well protected to, keep everybody in.
Absolutely. The main entrance, which is off to your left, has a tunnel entrance, so it's nicely fortified and protected. Meanwhile, there are ways into the little area around this is an industrial park, that you can walk down from the hills, but the main entrance is road accessible only.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So is there anywhere particular down here you'd like to take a first look at? I know a lot of people are probably curious with the container hub down there, the main nexus of the safe zone, as it were.
I guess we could just kind of make our way down there and kind of check it out and then talk about what... I'd like to definitely look at what we have now and what you guys are, doing with it right now, but also what's kind of coming in the future and what exciting plans for you guys may have.
Absolutely. I guess for starters, that nice big empty field in front of you will not be there in our next update.
Cool.
If you look up the slope to your left there, the main road to Dominion comes by up there on the cliff. Now, the issue is, it kind of sucks if you're on foot because you have to walk down a big old cliff face and cross this boring old field to get in there. It's not fun. It's not super interesting. So we're going to probably be adding a park down here, as well as a proper foot-accessible staircase to get you down the cliff slope. Alongside that, we're going to be looking at some more incidental buildings that may not be super relevant to the main functions of the safe zone, but just to bulk it out and give players places to log out safely or just walk around and explore.
That's pretty cool. I like that. And so I know that this is some sort of a trader area where players can buy, sell goods, things like that. But there's also a form of questing that you guys have planned for this area too, right?
Well, yes, there is. One big thing for Dead Matter, it's really, really core to what we want to do is have quests in the game so players can go and help factions out. We have a few early ones in the game. They're not finished by any stretch. There's issues with them. However, we are going to be putting a lot of effort into making a very robust quest system. I know I personally have some quests I'm excited to start working on, and we have some initial steps set up in Dominion for some location-specific quests that, while they're not set up, we have the groundwork laid, and we're really excited to get to work on them.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that I'm sure I've heard, at least in my own server, that people have had ideas for little fetch quests and, ways that you guys could go with this. It's obviously something that's very exciting because a lot of survival games are kind of lacking in the PvE side of things, which almost kind of forces players to do PvP because PvP is great. Don't get me wrong, in my personal opinion. I just think that it's cool to have more interactive opportunity amongst players, which I also, like what you guys have already implemented, which is the whole character building system that's very, very reminiscent of Project Zomboid, where it almost gives players more to offer than just their loot. I've been saying it since the beginning. Like, you're able to construct better or cook better depending on which prior occupation you choose. It gives players something better than just whatever their loot is from their corpse. You can say, oh, well, this guy can actually cook me something that I wouldn't be able to cook myself, build something that I wouldn't be able to build, or repair my car. And I think that questing and maybe even questing together is going to be able to amplify that.
Absolutely. And once we get the faction system in, it's going to become even more paramount. Because it's not just going to be about, hey, I'm going to get cool stuff from this quest. It's going to be about, I like this faction. I want to move forward with them and potentially get faction-based rewards or abilities.
Very cool. That was my next question when it came to questing. Is now that I was talking about it, it kind of reminded me. Is so I'm obviously you're going to be able to accept a quest and run it as your own person. But is there any way or ideas planned for quest sharing, or any way to make sure that you guys can do it together?
We've discussed a few things internally about how we want to handle people working together on quests. It's an online multiplayer game. If only one person can do a quest and, their friends are just sort of there and get nothing for their efforts, that would suck. That wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be enjoyable. Nobody want to do it. So clearly, we want to do something with it, and we're going to be experimenting with it to see what we can come up with.
And speaking of experimentation, while you guys are watching now, the FPS are going to be a little bit lower while I'm in this area. This area is currently under testing, so they're changing things, they're adding things. Last time that I hopped into the game and went to the traders, because I hop in all the time, but actually going to the traders, it was in a completely different location, and it was very different. So they're adding things constantly. If it's lower FPS or there's any problems like that, that's going to be why. I just wanted to make that known.
For sure. We also did a bunch of major changes on our back end just before the last patch, which has brought lighting back to our world. A lot of people have noticed that our lights weren't behaving as they were supposed to. And we wanted to fix that, but the issue is with the fixes needed, it's going to take a fair bit of time because we have to go through all of our buildings and actually clean it up. That's something I've been working on for the last few days alongside other changes and additions to our world. But, in this patch, as a result, performance isn't quite where we want because we went from having no lights to having, 50,000 terribly optimized lights that we tried to pare down.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a couple.
Yeah. So as I'm walking in here, we see the shipping crates. We've got a little dude standing here, Sergeant Austin Lake. So what's the deal with this guy?
Well, for the moment, the good sergeant is mostly just here as a gate guard. Once the faction systems come into place, clearly he's not going to be too happy to let some random person who's been ganking every other guy he sees out in the roads. Or it could be, you side with a faction that's more based around, hunting other players or something like that. In which case, again, they're not going to want to let you into Dominion. And while you might manage to slip past the front gate via one of the side trails, it's very likely you're going to have some trouble getting into the main trading hub here.
Very well, very well. Yeah, I like that. Even though you said you guys are still working on the whole questing side of it, there's dialogue. And like I said before, with most survival games, there's not even that yet. So, and we're in closed alpha, so it seems like there's a lot of room to build with dialogue. And I may be wrong, and I just want to, because we're kind of winging it here at this point, so I'm just kind of trying to, feel out what questions pop up in my mind. And
of course.
A big one for me is, do you guys, I'm pretty sure you've already said it, but do you guys plan to add in voices for the dialogue?
Why, yes, we do. We have plans for voice acting. Some of our community members have actually already volunteered their voices for the game, which is really, really exciting. And we're going to be doing more work in the future to start getting voice acting in. And I think it's going to do a whole lot for the way things feel. One of the big things we're working through right now is everybody knows the player character model has seen a lot of changes over the last bit. I know in the last update we finally achieved the great milestone of hair. Actually, if you want to hit the IQ, you can show people your character. I believe he probably has facial hair and head hair.
Yes, facial hair is in. I didn't even notice that when I built my character.
Yep, so your character can now have hair on them. We're doing lots of iterative improvements on the player character. There are still some bugs with it. Character skin materials, for instance, still need work.
Sure.
But we are trying to get everything set up so stuff like lip sync can work nicely.
Yeah, I feel like lip sync's definitely a tough one.
Yeah, I think we'll get it working, though.
Yeah, for sure. And so with the facial hair, is that something that you guys you're going to allow people to be able to cut, or it grows longer over time?
At this point, I don't believe there's any real planning for that.
Okay.
I can say we are likely going to be adding more variations of both head and facial hair. So at least that's there, so people can really customize their characters. And of course, once the female player character makes it in, there'll be even more variety for hairstyles and the like.
Wow. So something I'm noticing right off too is almost everything that I'm coming across is vaultable. That's
Yeah, our
awesome.
vaulting system, it's no secret it was in kind of a bad place at launch. That was primarily down to it seeing a rework starting at exactly the same time. So we've been working on trying to get it fixed up. There's still a few problem areas. I know one of our major subterranean locations has a lot of issues. That's something I'm going to likely be fixing the next little bit. But we are reaching a point where you can actually traverse our world with a little less difficulty.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely noticeable. So that's awesome. And I believe in here there's a guy to talk to too.
Why, yes, there is.
Oh, this guy, Michael Matthews. So what is this dude's kind of role at this little safe zone Dominion area?
Mr. Matthews owned the container hub. This here is Dominion Self Storage. It's a proper, honest to God self storage facility that this man ran, and now he's got a bunch of random people squatting in it. So he's here. He can give you some jobs, all that good stuff. But at the same time, this is his place. He is the big boss here as far as this self storage facility is concerned.
Right on. So is there anything, I see a question in the chat that I actually like. It says, is there anything new in this patch? So the way I'd like to reframe that actually is there anything new that you can currently show us that is obvious, I guess, in this patch?
I mean, one of the big ones, you're standing and looking at it right now. I'm a level designer, so from my perspective, a lot has changed that is very invisible, because we reworked on our back end the way every single building in the game behaves. This addressed a major issue. Some of you have probably seen some of our earlier partner streams where lights weren't working properly. That was down to a replication system issue that was kind of a side effect of the building system we were using in the game. With that being an issue, and along with that system kind of sucking, we finally just said, whatever, we're going to replace this. And that last patch cycle, we went through, replaced all of our buildings, and now every building in the game, for instance, has functional lights. Which I know sounds like a no-brainer, but it makes a huge difference from playability perspective. And with the tweaks we made to the level of darkness at night, the game feels a lot better and a lot more enjoyable to wander around at night. Alongside that, a lot of long-standing issues with containers inside of buildings have been fixed or are in the process of being fixed right now.
Oh, see, I haven't noticed this. I don't remember this being in the last patch that I played, which was a while back. So is there like a community farming area it's looking like in the middle of this trade zone?
For sure, yeah. The people in Dominion, they got to feed themselves too, and being a little shacked up like they are, they're not going to want to spend all their time trying to do risky raids out into the countryside.
Right.
And trading can only feed you so far.
No kidding. Yeah, that's something. Boom, another idea just popped right off my head, which is that might be something cool if you guys haven't already thought about it for like a quest, like a fetch quest, is in like we need seeds or something to help us keep our plants going or crops going.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting idea.
All right.
I will address this. Somebody in the chat here asking if players are. I'm guessing you're referring to the desync of players. That is something we have started to address the last patch. It should be a lot better for most people. However, depending on your connection and the weirdness that is the internet, you're still going to have problems with it. We know it sucked, and we're going to continue to address it as it comes up.
Good deal. It's this guy here, Tim. We got supplies. This is Tim the Tap Man.
This is Tim the Gunman.
Tim the Gunman. All right. So he says, have any firepower for trade? Oh, look at all that.
Yeah, now our man Tim here is packing just about every variety of heat you could be looking for. He's primarily focused on more civilian weapons. He does have a few little more curious things from the military market that might have shown up, and a few illegal firearms. But primarily he's focused on civilian weapons.
Very well. I mean, and as the game mostly is too, as far as I know, you guys are trying to focus a lot on the civilian side of things because that's more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Canada, you don't see a lot of automatic weapons there. Right. Like, they exist, they float around, it's mostly black market stuff, and in our game, that's primarily, if you're finding, like, say, a Glock 18 with its full automatic, output, you're not going to find that at a gun store. That's going to be something somebody probably illegally brought over the border. And so, if you're going to want to find a weapon like that, you're going to have to do some digging.
Right on. Okay. It looks like you guys have. So I'm seeing supplies, food, medical, and not sure what this guy is. Stephen Brown. Materials, I think.
Yes, so Stephen Brown is here for those of you who really want to build your claims up. Last patch, we're really starting to get the claims system set up and functional how we want it. And as time goes by, you're going to start finding, hey, I could use an extra lock for my front door. Or, man, I'm having a hard time finding lumber. So, our boy here, Steven, he's going to be your hookup for that. He's going to get you basically all your basic crafting supplies. Because, sometimes you don't want to go scavenging. You don't want to go hunting to find, the last couple of nails you need to finish off your fortifications.
Yeah, that's a good question. So sodium sulfate. So what exactly, it says can be used for crafting. What exactly would you use that for?
Currently nothing. However, we will have some limited chemistry-based stuff alongside. Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. We have Molotovs in the game. You can expand based on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd like to buy his Pit Viper sunglasses.
You can find those out in the world. They are out there.
No kidding. That's going to be all me right there.
I believe they are actually just called cool glasses.
Well, they're definitely cool glasses, so it's fitting. You got Alan Boyd. He looks like the medical guy. This is something I really wanted to look at, too. Because, all right, so this is basically... I don't know if this is all of the things that you can find in the world, but I'm not sure exactly what all it's used for yet.
So parts of our medical system are not hooked up yet.
Okay.
And I will actually say this is not all of our medical items. We have a ton. We have mounds of medical supplies. For instance, stuff like charcoal tablets we don't really have a use for right now.
Right.
And various medical supplies aren't totally hooked up.
Do you guys have the blood testing kit in yet?
Yes, you can actually check your blood type so you don't accidentally give yourself blood poisoning.
Yeah. Epinephrine. Suture kit. Is the suture kit in? Because I feel like I got a deep wound one of the days I was first playing and I wasn't able to really patch it up.
So the medical system is still being reworked, so certain things like the suture kit aren't totally in yet.
Okay.
That is still something that is fairly a priority because it kind of sucks to bleed out when you have the supplies to fix it. So it's going to get fixed in the next while. I just can't give a timeline on that.
Sure. AED is exciting too, because I think that's a really cool concept, where a player goes unconscious. If you're in a crew, he can revive you and everything like that.
For sure. And I think it's a nice grounded way of handling it.
Yes. Okay. And we got the food guy. He looks like a food guy. Look at those stains. I like it.
Yeah, that man's an expert. You can tell.
Big old hiking bags, too.
We will probably be moving those to a different vendor down the line. Right now, though, we do want players to be able to buy the rough supplies they need. Good lord, that man has canned pizza.
No, he doesn't. Does he? Oh my god, canned pizza, guys. Now you know where to get it. What's the difference between the black-tipped canned pizza and the one that looks like actual pizza?
Oh, the black tip one is just an empty can.
Oh. Pizza can, yes, that's right there. Well, I guess that's good for holding your pizza if you find any not canned in the world.
I don't know, that seems like it'd be a little dodgy.
Yeah. All right, nice. So, yeah, do you guys have any... So you just kind of hinted at it now. I'm guessing you guys have plans to add other traders for other things that may be implemented later?
Absolutely. Like, the current version of the system is pretty cool, and it looks almost functional right now, but there's a lot to be done with it. We're going to be doing things to improve sorting, better delineate who's, selling what. Right now, for instance, if you look at the weapons trader's inventory, you'll see stuff like a lot of weapons stock modifications currently look like the full mesh for the weapon, and that's just because the weapon hasn't been broken down into its proper constituents yet. We have a lot we want to tweak with that stuff.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, as is, like you said, I mean, it already looks pretty awesome. I mean, it's adding a lot of cool stuff that's leading up to things that can be built upon later on, getting closer to early access and stuff like that. So as we see the trader zone here, so that this isn't the full safe zone, just this area right here, right?
Yep, that's just it's the main functional part for this current build.
Sure.
But there is more stuff. So, up to you where you'd like to head to next. There's sort of 4 main areas in here, not to mention the radio station up on the hill.
Okay, well, where would be the closest?
If you continue down the road towards the roundabout behind you.
Okay.
So you can see up here there's the power substation. This is important because you can use the power lines to kind of find your way around different points that might have either other living people, as well as places where, you're going to be able to find your way just to civilization in general. It's not a great time when, you're stuck out in the wilderness and can't figure out where you are.
Right.
And we're trying to really encourage people to find their way based on landscape elements or various landmarks. You're coming up here, though, on the Dominion Point Garage.
Oh. Oh, nice. So that's kind of a little hint that this is the garage area. I like that, actually.
Yeah, so currently the garage is not really a functional location for most purposes, and that's simply down to the fact that our vehicle modification systems aren't in. But once they are, this will be the place to go get your car hooked up with, any number of really interesting upgrades to make it more durable, or even just to repair some damage to it.
Is there an NPC mechanic that'll be there, or?
Well, I believe there's one in here right now.
Really? Okay. Also, am I able to turn it back to day again? So it's very visible.
Try set time 0.
Does that all need to be spaced?
No space between set and time, but your 0 will need one. Oh, other way around.
Oh, all right. Let me try to get set time 0, like that.
Yeah, you just need the slash now. It's all good.
Bear with me, people. Bear with me.
Console systems are never fun to work with.
There we go. Nice.
Nice and bright.
Sir, all right. Let's see. Oh, looky. I had no idea this guy was in here till literally just now. Kyle Westen. So he's got basically, as of now, the same stuff as the materials guy. But what's the plan for him?
He is actually, if you talk to him and ask him, what is this place?
He says, "Bro, this is a garage."
Yeah. Basically, his whole thing is that he's going to be there to sell modifications to your weapons, and also sell you spare parts. Maybe you need a new oil filter. This will be the guy who'll hook you up.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, that stuff's pretty high end too. I'm sure some of it's going to be pretty rare. At least some of the car parts.
On one hand, we do want players to go out and loot and search for things, but I'm sure we can all agree that nobody likes grinding for hours upon hours just to find an oil filter.
No. Not if you really, really need it and you have the money for it. I've noticed that too. So I've seen your guys' Canadian dollars and US dollars in the game. So how's that going to translate?
Well, US dollars are worth more than Canadian dollars.
Right.
And so when you trade with them, the US dollar will get you more value for your money, but it's harder to come by.
Cool.
Whereas your Canadian dollar is your stock-based currency.
That makes total sense. It's very realistic. I like that. Okay. That's what I was hoping. Very cool. Okay, so we checked out the mechanic guy. Was there something to see in the substation, or we're kind of...
That was more just a rough note. If you head to your left, there is another building here, though.
All right. Let's check it out.
The Baked Beaver, asking about money. We're aiming for a certain level of abstraction, because as cool as Canadian funny money is, it is, it doesn't really add much for you to find, a $50 bill and then have to stack that with a $10 bill and have to manage change. It's not super enjoyable.
Okay. Roger Henderson. He says, just looking around, I'm sorry, but that's on a need-to-know basis. We've too many survivors stumble in here, cause trouble. If you're looking for supplies, go to Dominion. Okay, so what's this guy's deal? Why is he getting so defensive?
Well, I think you might be figuring it out.
Yeah. I am now. I shouldn't have said anything. Yes, we are. I'm going to give it away. Dominion has everything you'll need. If there's anything else, I'll have to get back to my paperwork.
Clean water isn't easy to get, and Dominion here has their own stockpile of clean water. In fact, you can walk around the place. He's not going to, open up on you for it. And you can take a look at all the water supplies they have in here. Dominion really is trying to be set up as a self-sufficient location.
So what I guess would be the interactivity between us in this area?
It is likely that some level of trading for water supplies will open up down the line. It may be faction reputation based. It's still something we're trying to dial in properly.
So is this area, this safe zone Dominion, is it just one faction that's pre-planned, or is this going to be a neutral party?
So this is sort of the survivor faction. This is your average Canadian who just didn't die and wants to work with their friends to not die. It's a very simple faction, all things considered, but they're a good, safe option. And for the average player who just wants to hop into the game, do a little bit of light PvE, and maybe build a cool base, this is a great faction to work with.
You got a little working vending machine here too. Nice.
You might want to check your inventory. I don't believe you have space to hold that bottle.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I had my drink from yesterday. Ooh, I need to drink something anyway. I'll go ahead and do that.
Some delicious H2. Whoa.
All right. Yeah, I had no idea. So was all this just recently added in the patch? Because I don't remember seeing this when I first hopped in.
So here's the deal. Dominion, as you might recall, was kind of massive.
Yes.
This was all in there. You just good luck finding it all. The area was way too big. It wasn't fun to navigate. We're pretty happy to admit that it needed work, and we have worked on it. It's still going to see some further adjustments to make it a far nicer place with time, but this is the first step.
It's a pretty big first step. That's awesome. Okay. And so I think we looked at place 1, 2, well, I guess that would be 2 and 3. So is there a fourth place that we're supposed to look at, or?
Well, yes, that's the, if you head to the back area way down to the far end. This is a little sneak preview of something, but we'll take a little look at it. No, to your right, back past the garage.
Oh, back past the garage, okay. Can do.
I realize I can actually give directions based on places in here now. It's weird.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's pretty comfortable to navigate, and the area just feels good. It feels like all this is supposed to be where it's at. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but it just feels like it's supposed to be where it's at.
All right. If you take, it would actually be behind you now.
Okay.
Now, I cannot comment on what this location is for, but know it is the groundwork for something that will be coming.
I like that. All right, so I'm at the roundabout.
All right, take a left. Or right. My goodness, why am I getting my directions backwards at a time like this?
Take a right!
Yeah, hang a right here, and then it should be the actual buildings up on your right here.
All right, the little trailer area.
Yes. Once you get a little closer, you might see there's a bit more to it than just a trailer.
So into this little area, or over to the left more?
Should be a little further down, past the fenced-in area.
Okay.
This here is part of the power substation. It's just a couple of outer buildings for it.
Ooh, that I guess while we're here then. So I remember a long time ago it being talked about that you guys were gonna do some way to control the power supply to the grid of certain areas. Now, is that like there's going to be different substations where you're able to control different sectors of different cities, or is this going to be one of them, or how does that going to work?
Well, for obvious reasons, the people of Dominion are not going to be very keen on allowing you to turn their power off. So that's not something you're going to be able to toy with. But for the overall system, what we're going to be doing is we're going to have main power generation stations. Now, from those generation stations, there are going to be substations. These will be grid-based, so if you axe the power in a small subsection, it won't kill power for everybody, but you can turn power off at certain control substations that are part of an upstream part of the net. So I could say hit a switch at one of these upstream stations and turn off power for maybe a town or a neighborhood selectively, or I could go down to one of the downstream stations and kill it for, literally a small like subdivision.
Wow, that's actually a little bit more in depth than I thought it would be. So that, wow, that gives me my opportunity because I have a feeling that when I do play in early access, that I'm going to have a very Negan-esque attitude towards things. So I might create a group of survivors that we control everything. If you want water, if you want to have the power turned on in your area where you're trying to build your base, we can have control of that. And you have to pay your little toll, just like a little troll toll. Something like that. I don't know.
I could dig that. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is our power generation stations are likely to need maintenance. So it could be that the power drops out, and you and a few friends or other players on a server might have to work together to ensure that you can get the power turned back on.
Oh, yeah. So to even get it started, that might be an issue.
Depending on where you are, yes.
Mm. And I mean, same thing goes for a lot of things. I mean, so, I do like that it just doesn't just work. You have to actually maintain it, keep it up. It gives the players, once again, like you said, another reason to work together in some way, shape, or form. Because for me personally, the biggest problems, and I even did a little poll a few days ago of like the biggest problems that I'm seeing with survival games today, and most people put that it's not the fact that KOSing happens, but the reasons that KOSing happen. The reasons that KOSing happen is lack of content and lack of reasons to work together. And as I'm seeing with this game more and more, every single time you guys add stuff and more that we talked about, because as you probably know, I've been covering the game for a long time on my YouTube channel.
You
so
very much have been, yes.
I followed it a lot and tried to get into as much detail as possible with the game. And I really like all the different aspects you guys are adding and reasons for players to work together. And if there is going to be PvP, it's more realistic rather than, because in real life you're not going to just run around shooting everybody you see in an apocalypse. You're going to be like, dude, like I need people to do certain things for me, and they probably need the same. So you're going to at least see what they have to do. And I mean, I don't know, if the PvP happens, it would be more Walking Dead based, like what you see in that show. That's what I feel like it would really be like.
Yeah, things should be a lot more grounded, and we're
Yeah.
really trying to push for that, cooperation is recommended angle. We want people to work together.
I love it. I love it. And it's good to hear it from you guys too. Let me see if I can. Perfect. Set time 0. Already got it covered. See, I could do commands. Okay.
Nice. You got this.
All right. So is this the location that you're talking about?
Yeah, why don't you head ahead a little bit?
Okay.
I'm just going to offer this as a preview. No context, but here it is.
Everybody keep it on the DL.
Yeah, just be a secret for those of us here. Let's keep this hush-hush, folks.
All right.
Now, I wonder what could be down here.
Well, let's read the signs. Controlled area. Enter at designated access only. Any area past this point contains radioactive materials. And we got a little elevator with a condemned little... Looks like what was this, a cave-in, I'm guessing?
Could be a cave-in. Could be deliberate.
Could be. Could be deliberate. That's a good point. Could be deliberate. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's fun to leave you guys to your imaginations there in the chat. I don't know. You guys can guess and wonder what we'll be doing in here. I'm excited to see. Yeah, I've definitely seen this before in one of my playthroughs, and I was wondering on myself. So, I mean, is this something that is currently being worked on now? Are you able to say that?
I'm working on the entirety of Dominion right now.
Awesome. So this will be a part of Dominion.
Why, yes, it will be.
Awesome. Got the little pipes coming out too. Very cool. I don't want to push you, but are you able to say any estimation, a time frame of when something like this would possibly be in the game?
An early version of it could be in as early as next patch, depending on whether or not I'm happy with what we come up with for it.
Very well.
But, you know, that's really just based on where I end up going with things here, because I'm doing a lot of work on Dominion. While this area is really cool to look at, and I really cannot undersell how great the work was done to bring it down to this far more condensed and enjoyable to explore state, I still feel that there can be work done to optimize it, and there's also going to be some up-detailing added and just some quality-of-life stuff.
Awesome. Well, it sounds great. I mean, yeah, we definitely want you to be happy with it before, and I think I could speak for everyone saying that. Happy with the outcome that you're working on before you release anything. So, I mean, whenever it's ready. Honestly, I remember checking out that building up there on top of the hill last night when I was kind of doing a little run through. I mean, is that something that's going to be a part of the Safezone plan as well, Dominion plan?
Why, yes, it is. That's the radio station. We can head up there right now if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do it.
You may need to take the road. Again, not the most pedestrian-friendly place, but,
sure.
You know, business parks rarely are.
Yep. I seriously do. I gotta compliment you guys on the solar panels every time I see them. The fact that that's going to be something that can be implemented in the game for power is something I've always wanted to see, and I'm very excited to see where you guys go with that.
Yeah, no, a bunch of people on the team are really, really excited about the electrical systems we can do. And getting those solar panels in like that is sort of the first step towards us doing what we'd like to do.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that with the entire electrical system, it is actually very cool with the generators, putting lights in the buildings. So that brings me, I guess that this is now popping in my head as well. So with the grid, so you're able to power certain buildings. So let's say you don't need a generator. You can have one as a spare, but let's say your building is being powered by the grid that you just got running. So that whole house now has electricity. So would things be connected to outlets, or how would that work if it's already has power?
So the way the grid works is it's contained to sort of a set area. It handles it dynamically, and I will actually just take a brief moment and bring this up. Even though you're connected to the grid, it might be that you still need a generator because the grid has a set capacity. You can overdraw from the grid, at which point you won't be able to power your stuff, so setting up supplemental power supplies may still be necessary for players.
Very well. And Sweetie Yow has highlighted a message, so they really want this to be heard. So it says, when person walks away, why camera isn't moving, like wobbling? It's like person's head is attached to gimbal. Well, this is an early alpha build, so we're there. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you were here or not. There's going to be some FPS drops. There's going to be certain things that are being worked on. Don't plan to see what you're seeing now as the final result, because as we've discussed, that is not the case.
Yeah, we are, like, genuinely, I'm excited for the next public patch. We have done a lot with our environment to really improve things, make the world feel better. And once that gets out to people's hands, that's going to be really exciting for us.
Awesome. Dag Nasty says, Meta, build my future house, please.
I don't think I'm an accredited contractor. Not sure I can help you there.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think your engineering is strictly for level design, right?
Yeah, I can do a few other things, but that's house building ain't one of them, I'm afraid.
All right, so this is the radio station, huh?
Yes, it is. You can head right on inside if you'd like.
Okay. So what is the goal of this place? What's the player interactivity here?
Well, I mean, among other things, we're going to be setting things up so that you know, players can listen to the radio in their vehicles or in their homes.
And will you be able to broadcast from this location, or?
There have been plans for a broadcast system, keeping in mind that nothing concrete has been put in place for that, but there has been talk of it.
Yeah, I remember it being talked about a while ago. I remember making suggestions and ideas about it in one of my previous features video that I did. Probably one of my first videos I did on your game. And I always just imagine it because yeah, there's a lot that can come from being able to broadcast to on a channel that people can pick up on VHF, like on a radio, on a walkie-talkie or whatever, to where you can if you have an entire clan, you guys can track movements of other enemy players, plan out attacks and all sorts of different things like that. But you're also going to get the typical player, blasting his fire new mixtape. Guys, check out my mixtape, and just playing it nonstop on the radio, which is fine because I guess you can just switch to another station. But you're always going to come across things like that, and I'm sure that's part of your guys' thoughts as well.
For sure, and I mean, we know some of the systems we initially set them up didn't work great. I mean, it's like our chat system when it was first put in, it didn't have a character limit. So that may have led to me dropping the entire B-movie script into chat at one point.
Oh, good question. Wary says, is radiation a thing, or will that be in the game? So when we were heading over towards the sneak peek, it did say radiation. Is that something you guys plan to have implemented in some way, shape, or form?
We have some plans for some radioactivity and various impacts it will have, not just on players, but also equipment.
Any ideas for how you'd be able to detect it? Like any way to track if an area is radioactive or not? Or
I do believe if we use such a system, we will likely be doing something with a Geiger counter.
Awesome.
Because everybody just needs that clicking.
Yeah, that's what I was definitely thinking of, the Geiger counter. Okay. But yeah, I like the idea of the radio tower. I think that can be very cool. I always like the idea too of the Duke cartilage character. I always thought that was really cool. I remember when that first was discussed and the little sneak peeks we got of the voice play with that. And is this something, I don't know if this has already been talked about or not, but is that something you guys have planned for Dominion, or is that he would be somewhere on his own? Or
we've talked about a couple of locations for the Duke. Once we work it out, we really want to get him in because we think it's going to add a whole lot of character to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it reminds me, it's very, very reminiscent of like a Fallout-y Three Dog character, or I can't remember the guy's name on Fallout 4, but basically where you're down in some cave checking it out, and it's kind of eerie and dull, but then you turn on the radio and you can listen to just Duke Cartilage going off about whatever. I think that's a super cool, immersive quality in a game.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I love the idea of having a radio station in a game, period. And for a game like ours, where there is going to be downtime from time to time where you're just traveling, being able to throw on some music will be nice.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Or hear what maybe, because I know that in-game events are something you guys have talked about as well too, right?
For sure.
I think that would be cool to have. I don't know, I'm sure this has already been talked about, but Duke Cartilage maybe discussing in-game events or things that are happening in the game. That to me is super immersive, because that's what happens in Fallout as well.
Yeah, no, that would be really exciting to have a system like that in.
Yeah. Also, I like, man, this radio tower is massive.
Yeah, they're kind of large.
It isn't actually climbable, is it?
It might be. Our ladders have had some minor issues as of late, but it may be climbable.
Yeah, this one isn't. I didn't expect it to be. I mean, this is a very different than your average ladder of everything else in game. That could be something cool too, though. Something's wrong with like something at the top of the radio tower, and you have to go climb up there and fix it. That could be something. I don't know.
Ultimately, we do want it climbable, so it will be there as an option.
Awesome. And I feel like there was something else that we might have talked about beforehand. Is vehicles something that you wanted to show off, or?
Yeah, but I think we could do some driving around.
Okay. Has anything changed, at least with this recent patch, or anything about vehicles?
We have been fixing them like mad people. We know they have had issues, but we fixed a good chunk of them. There is still some issues in multiplayer with desync. However, it's no longer game crashing or crippling desync.
Sure. Well,
if you'd like a vehicle, you can spawn one in with the spawn vehicle command. That'll give you a full list of the vehicles in the game, as well as a few that aren't really in the game, but they're there anyway.
Is there a way that I'm able to pop over and teleport to somewhere that's maybe more rural, or somewhere that maybe isn't, I guess, as dense?
I believe I sent you that command earlier.
Yes.
That would actually get you out to a fairly rural area around the town of Morley.
Yep. Let me pull it up on my handy dandy phone real quick. So let's teleport, okay. Has there been recent work to Morley, or?
Fair bit. I've actually spent a good chunk of time this last week working on Morley, revamping things alongside a lot of the fixes I've been working on. Now, because the teleport command isn't perfect, you're going to have to probably hit up to redo that command, because the landscape did not stream in for that.
Yep. Good call, good call. And by the way, if you're watching now, we're using admin commands, so we might drop through the floor sometimes. Things like that do happen. You're not going to be able to do that in game, so.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know.
Yeah, but you should be able to find your way out to the road from here. Actually, if you head up this way, yeah.
Oh, I know where we're at. You guys remember this, right? From the duck stream, Atomic Duck Stream. Yeah, they went in there. Okay. I figure this would be as good a place as any. So, how would I go about spawning in a car?
So there's a spawn vehicle command. If you type that in without any modifiers, it'll actually give you a list of all the vehicles. Now, I would recommend avoiding the Waterbird or something like that. The Crown Vic is a good safe standby, as is the pickup.
What is the Waterbird?
Are you familiar with the Pontiac Firebird, the mightiest of muscle cars from the 1980s and late 70s?
Very much so, if my attire didn't give it away, but yes.
Well, imagine a Firebird half full of water.
That does sound like it would. Okay, I see what you're saying now, and I see why there might be a little bit more into loading something like that in. Okay.
It works, kind of. Its handling hasn't been dialed in, and the mesh is very unfinished. If you want to spawn it and toy with it a little bit, by all means, I just can't guarantee things might get weird.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm interested to actually visually see this. So, at this point, once it's all pulled up, do I just slash BP vehicle underscore water?
So you're going to re-enter the spawn vehicle command. You can hit up again.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And then just type in, drop in a space, and then type in BP vehicle Waterbird, just as written on screen. Oh, no. So what you got to do is enter the vehicle spawn command, drop a space, and then type in the name of the Waterbird.
Okay. Well, can I copy? At least I don't have to.
Oh, that means it should work.
Yeah, let's test that out. Nice. Okay. Look at that, man. Oh, that's sweet. I have not driven anything like this in game yet. Woo!
Yeah, it's terribly unfinished.
Still, though, I bet this thing can fly, though. Because I mean, is there going to be different capabilities to the speeds that? Like, is there a speed threshold to different vehicles?
All of our vehicles have somewhat unique handling. Some of that is actually physically dictated. Vehicles like our SUV, for instance, because of the way it is built, it's an SUV, it already has different handling characteristics. It's the same with a vehicle like a Crown Vic, and I mean, I'm sure you can understand a lawn tractor is going to be a bit slower than, something like the Waterbird here.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, you can already tell it has way faster giddy up. Look at that go.
Yeah, now, the handling on it isn't quite where we want it, as I'm sure you can tell.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we like our muscle cars.
Look at it go, though. Woo.
Now, the cool part is that bridge there you're over by, if you cross that and then head up the hill, that will take you to Dominion. So if you want to drive through the tunnel in Dominion and check it out from that angle, you can.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you think, chat? You guys want to head back, see if we can get through the tunnel of Dominion? Oh! That's what a vehicle crash looks like. Okay. Hey, we landed on our feet.
Yeah, the suspension is very soft on this thing right now, so it doesn't work like it should.
What I would say too is one thing I've automatically noticed. I don't know if any of you have were driving around in the earlier builds of the closed alpha, but if you would go over just any line that wasn't asphalt, so like this line divider right here between the asphalt and the side of the road, you would just hit it like an invisible wall and flip. So that's something that's gone. I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, there were a lot of issues with vehicles. We were in the midst of like a complete refactor of them when closed alpha went live, and we've been continuing to work on it. But there's, like anything, loads of issues that need to be sorted out.
Sure. Let me spawn. I want to spawn another vehicle, but can I spawn like a drink? Because I think I'm about to die.
If you go into your enter the list items command, and then if you type in teeth. Oh, okay. So after you type in list items, put a space in, then drop the word teeth. Okay. That will actually filter for anything with the word teeth in it, so you can get our wonderful special beverage, of course, teeth poison. Oh, you don't want a space in list items.
Okay.
LOL video gallery. The bow is not functional in any way, shape, or form currently. It's really just in the game because it's there. There's a lot of stuff in this console that's either half finished or it even depreciated sometimes.
Do I have to write out that whole thing with the parentheses and all that too?
No, so you'll just need the item name. So you want to do /give item, no space, and then drop a space. And you can type in, just item _ bottle teeth poison, and it'll give you everything you need.
All right. Don't want my guy dying while we're trying to show stuff here, so. Oh, cool. Okay.
There we are.
Just like that. But don't get used to it, chat. It's going to be harder to find things in game. You can't just spawn them. You got to be prepared. Well, or plan accordingly.
Yeah, we really do want to encourage players, plan ahead, be ready for things to go south if and when they do.
Right.
All right. You can spawn a vehicle in up here if you wanted, and then behind you, if you cross the railroad tracks at the crossing, that'll take you up the road straight into the safe zone.
All right. I can't go back up that high.
Yeah, it does have a limited history, unfortunately.
What was it? List vehicle?
Or no, just spawn vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll give you the full list.
All right.
Gorilla Man 2288. Gore system is back and kicking. It accidentally got turned off.
All right, let's see. Maybe we'll try. Let's do the Crown. What's the most optimized vehicle, would you say, or is that known?
Really, the best bets for vehicles right now are the Crown Vics, the pickup, and the van. The lawnmower is also okay-ish, but it's also a lawnmower with all the speed you can imagine.
Boom.
And there we are.
Oh, wait, was that something new? Hold on. I just noticed that. says hold enter driver's seat and close door at the same time. I like that.
Yes. Again, we're trying to get as much quality of life stuff in as we can. Nobody likes getting into a car then having to swing their mouse to the left and hold a key just to close the door on your vehicle. It sucks.
No, exactly. Oh man, I wish my wheel wasn't covering it. You guys just added that stuff in too with the speedometer and all that, right?
Why, yes, we did. In fact, hit your G key.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's set up on some vehicles, but we actually have an illuminated version of it as well for some of our vehicles.
You mind if I try another vehicle out?
You're more than welcome to.
Yeah,
it's totally up to you.
Yeah,
I can't. It may also be that it's not in the public. I do a lot of work on the internal builds, so
that's possible.
I could be lying.
Well, if anything, I'll try another one. That way I can see if the try and see if the steering will be a little bit higher so we can actually look at the speedometer, because I just saw it going up. That's pretty cool.
I believe the pickup truck should actually give you that.
Okay.
Dagnasdi, not at this time, given that these commands are primarily for debug use and testing use. It'd be a lot of work to build a custom UI system just for debug commands.
Nice. All right, there we go. So we got RPMs. Look at that, guys. So that's something new that's being added. So the speedometer will go up as you increase your speed. RPMs are going up. Is fuel and, well, oil I don't think is active, but is fuel active?
Why, yes, it is.
Nice.
Gear question. So, as it is, gear is primarily for increased carrying capacity. You know, you throw on a tactical vest because you can put more magazines or stuff many cans of beer into it. However, down the line, armor will provide armor protection, and like any other gear, will be subject to damage when you get shot at.
This is the infamous tunnel that takes us into Dominion.
And there's a nice little lovely overlook there, so if you want to sightsee on your way to doing some trading, it's there for you to check out.
Look at that.
I also understand when you were doing some exploration here, you found something rather interesting for vehicle users.
Did I?
Yeah, I believe it was up on one of the higher points.
All right. Oh, yeah, I did. I know exactly what you're talking about. Look at how faster I'm going now that I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, you guys got to see this. Hold on.
Trust me, I like having fun as much as the next guy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you guys will like this. Oh, no. I'm not going to want to use the e-brake that much on the pickup. There we go.
Admin commands are primarily meant, Dagnasdi, for admins, and so while they're going to probably stay about as robust as they are right now, you know, you have to make a clear delineation between what we want for functionality and, you know, going overkill with it, because it's a lot to do a custom UI up for commands that only certain users will be using for very specific intended purposes.
Almost there. Jump off the side. No, baked beaver. I'm not gonna die. All right. But yeah, it's quite obvious too. I think for anybody that actually pays attention and you know, sees everything going on in your guys on Steam. Every time, you know, you log back or get ready to get back on, there's all these new patches coming back all the time. So you guys are adding a lot, you know, in a very short amount of time. So I know that's got to be a little stressful. But
we've been working flat out. We really want this to be the best possible game it can be.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question too. So, currently we've got the closed alpha map. So, is this planned to expand throughout the closed alpha, or not until the early access comes along?
That remains to be seen. Like
Okay.
I was saying, there's still a lot to be done with the existing map. Um, yes, that is a tree in the road, and it has been fixed. Just going to touch on that now. But really, ultimately, we want to focus on the areas we have right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go.
So Dominion has a ramp.
Look at that. It's like Ace Ventura. Oh my god. All right, here we go. Well, at least I didn't die. Let's kind of hop. There we go. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can push it. Oh! Well, bye-bye.
Oh, that was a sick flip. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I just Hulk smashed that thing. That was awesome. Well, that's all my questions currently. Thanks for all the hard work and answers. Appreciate it, Dag Nasty. I'm sure he appreciates it too.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely love answering questions for folks.
Uh-oh. Hey. Chill out. Chill out.
Yeah, see, you're actually outside the sort of core protected area of the safe zone now, which means that a very small number of infected can start to show up.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing them now. Okay. So, when you're within the safe zone, so how does that work? Is it like an actual barrier that you guys have set up? Like basically they won't walk past it? Or, like, say you run past that barrier, do they chase you and stop? Or do you guys have that kind of figured out yet? Or
They will... Well, for starters, once you're inside the safe zone, no infected will spawn.
Okay.
And generally the terrain actually prevents them from getting into the safe zone.
Oh, well, yeah,
Dominion
I guess it
is
kinda
realistically, you know, it's a fortified, easily defended position, and that's not for nothing. It actually does keep the infected out.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, exactly what we were talking about earlier. Perfect place for people to chill out and not have to worry about a bunch of enemies. So we have factions that are coming. Is
Yes.
faction wars a possible thing? Are they going to be fighting each other?
There will be active conflict between some of the factions because they're going to be very diametrically opposed.
Right. Yeah, obviously these guys aren't going to be very keen on the cannibal people, or who else we got? I mean, are all the factions official yet, or?
I am not 100% sure on what the old factions confirmed were, because I know there was a lot of talk about them.
Yes. Yeah, I remember there was a couple. There was like junk people, and I remember there was a list that came out probably a year and a half or so ago, and then it got updated, and there was a couple that were removed. Which some of them it kind of makes sense that they were removed. I wasn't really keen on them anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we've got to see some pretty cool stuff. I mean, I was really looking forward to the entire safe zone as in totality. I think it's a really cool feature of the game, and it looks like there is plenty to build upon and lots to come, especially that little sneaky peeky area that we got to check out. That was pretty cool. Is there any other, I guess, lasting details that you want to show everybody, or is there anything that's to come that you want to hint at, or anything of that nature?
Well, I can say that just from a visual perspective, and that's not to say that Dominion is ugly by any stretch of the imagination, but I think people will find it's going to be a little more visually interesting come next patch.
I like that. I like that. Okay. And I mean, yeah, that's next patch, guys. So that's not like super mega far down the road. It seems like most of the things, every time, like the last time I did my interview with Disseminate, it's always stuff that's like, oh yeah, next patch. It's not like, oh yeah, it'll come when it comes. It's always, you guys are like working so hard to make all these little implementations as we call them out to you, because it seems like you guys are really paying attention. That, you know what, that brings up a really good question, because I've had a lot of people ask me this. What is the best method at, if you have suggestions for the game? I mean, I already know the answer. I know it's pretty obvious, but for the people out there straight from the Des Mouse, where is the best place for people to go to give you suggestions, to give you bug reports, things like that?
For bug reports, the in-game bug reporter is an absolute godsend.
Okay.
We get a live ticking stream of every single report that is sent to us. We will literally sit there picking over them and calling them out to each other, so that way we can fix things as they come up. Alongside that, if you want to make suggestions, take them to the forums. I personally have a garbage memory. I have no problem admitting that. So if somebody comes to me with a cool idea, I don't want to say, yeah, I remember that, and then 3 hours later I'm thinking, yeah, I think chicken sounds good tonight. It doesn't do anybody any good. It's a waste of your idea. So, again, forums are a great place to take suggestions.
Okay. And with the... Well, I guess if you're a backer already and you're playing the game, you can always... Oh, who the heck is this guy? What?
Well, yes. The guards up in the towers exist, too.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that. Okay, cool. So... What would be, I guess, while we're on the point now, so like, what's the deal with this guy? Is he just kind of going to just be here to talk to, and does he have any interactivity besides just asking a couple questions, or?
For the time being, our boy Derek is just here to sort of tell you, hey, you're almost there, man. And, he can give you some just rough, loose fluff. Otherwise, he is a man in the tower. That is what he is.
Got it. And those shoulder pads, are those something that you can find in game?
I believe they are, yes.
Very cool, very cool. But yeah, with all that stuff out of the way, we got to get a good look at the Dominion safe area. I think we got to really check out stuff that's going to be coming to the game soon. And this is something that, for anybody that's in chat right now, this is something we're going to be doing a lot. As whenever we can on this channel. It's something I'm very interested in. Dead Matter is the game that I'm most excited about currently on my radar. And I think that there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room for it to move into something, whatever it is we want it to be. So if you guys want to, be a part of this, and you're already a backer, of course, you guys can, always offer suggestions from the Dead Matter Discord. They actually have a backer section set up, so you guys can talk, more freely about the game than not busting NDA. You don't want to do that. Currently, I am streaming the game, which this probably should have been mentioned at the beginning because I'm still getting questions about this all the time on YouTube. I am streaming the game because I'm currently partnered with Dead Matter. You can't make sure that if you have the game right now and you don't already know this, which it should be fairly obvious, but if you don't already know this, we were not able to stream the game yet. That's not what this is. It's not like everybody can stream yet. It's just as a partner stream. So don't go out streaming after this and say, oh, player 2 did it. They'll do that. Just so we're clear. But yeah, I guess now would be a good time for those of you who are currently still in chat. If you guys do have any, good questions that you want to get out of the way really quickly, Meta, would you be fine with taking a couple questions if they have any?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so if you guys have any questions down there in the chat, while we're not really actively doing anything now, we can actually read the chat and focus a little bit more on it. So if you guys have any questions, fire away. I didn't even read that too. Baked Beaver said now you can only stream it when devs allow. You can stream 4 hours a day on Dead Matter. Yes, so basically what I just said. And after this, I'm not going to be getting off after this for anybody that's actually interested. I'm going to be playing another survival game, Scum, right after we hop off of here. How detailed will the medical system be, and how long is recovery from injuries?
So the medical system is kind of a balance between fun and realism, because if you go super hard on the realism, you end up with something like, Ace Medical, where it is absolutely a nightmare a lot of the time with weirdness, or systems being like realistic, quote unquote, but being really aggressive sort of abstractions. We're aiming for something that's based in realism but still gamified. So for instance, we have a blood system. When you run out of blood, you're out of blood, you die. Blood is your main health currency, as it were. Alongside that, you're going to be using the right treatment for the right condition. If you have burns, you use burn ointment. If you break a limb because it's taken a lot of damage, you use a splint.
And Gorilla Man detaching limbs, I don't believe is going to be an implementation.
Yeah, there will be some plans for maybe some limited dismemberment on the infected.
Right.
But, you're not going to be amputating anytime soon.
Says, what's the next priority of improvements in the game so far? So where, if you've been around, I mean, I feel like most of the improvements are stuff that Meta was mentioning for the next patch. Things they're going to be on, like mainly making Dominion look smoother, I know is a big one. And if he has any others he wants to mention.
Well, it's no secret we have a stuttering problem, and that has been something that has been worked on quite aggressively since launch. That is still our number one priority. We want this game to run well, because once that's sorted, people are going to see such much better improvement, we suspect.
Ooh, they're coming in now. With my backer roll, when do I submit my picture of my pet? That's a great question, because I have the same thing.
Right, so once we hit a point where we're ready to take those pictures, we are going to be sending out emails to everybody, and then we can start getting them in-game. A lot of the back-end stuff for it is set up now. We just want to be able to get sort of the way we're going to handle the implementation set up properly, so that way people can actually, like something we discussed is having a system so when you join a server, there is a chance that it instances some of the photos, so there's a higher chance your pet photo will show up in the game world.
Very well.
Yeah, we just want to build a good system for it so that way you actually get to see your pet in the game.
And it's funny, too, because I've already came across certain places where it may be, I'm not sure whose they are, but you can tell that they're actual pictures of pets already implemented. There was this cabin, I can't remember where on the map it was, but it was filled with pictures of dogs. I was like, I know, and they looked really real, so I know that there's somebody's dogs, but I can see you guys already implementing some stuff like that.
Yeah. We're prototyping where we can so that when the time comes, we're not tripping over our feet trying to get all... there's a lot of them. I don't recall the exact number, but there's a lot of pet pictures, and we got to get them all in.
Yeah. Did they fix the issue of when you are driving a car and hit a zombie and the car goes flying, or did they fix the issue?
It was improved. However, we are aware that there are still cases where things happen.
And Baked Beaver, so you're allowed to stream it whenever you want then, but only do when devs join Discord. Just feel the people with permission should be putting more streams out is all. No, and we plan to. I mean, as much as we, really can. I don't think it's a good idea to stream every day, and I don't think that the Dead Matter team plans to do that. It's more along the lines of, we want to show you guys, and I think that the dev team obviously wants to show you guys when new things are implemented and when they come about. So, I mean, as much stuff as like that happens, we're going to try to be as involved as we can be. At least from my side of it.
And we really want to give you all the chance to show the game. This is in my eyes anyway, it's a good way for us to show the game in kind of a more free-form and less curated manner where, we want to be direct and honest. This is a closed alpha. The game is not finished by any stretch of the imagination. And, if we're doing like a dev vlog or something, we're cutting things down and we're optimizing things to make a good, clean clip to show a feature. So, when something breaks, you don't typically see that. It's just the nature of cutting a video like that.
Right.
But, when we're sitting down here, things break, things go wrong. And I quite like being able just to show people, hey, there's still stuff broken.
Says, when will the new zombie AI be added?
That isn't dialed in, and I couldn't tell you because I am not a coder. I do know that Kyle Disseminate, he's working on it right now. And he has a lot of really solid plans for it that should see significant improvements.
As I'm concerned. Spade says, so yeah, kind of along the same lines when you say I'm concerned about the bushes disappear at a certain range, which can be very annoying. Like I said, a lot of that, one, I don't know even if I have my view distance turned all the way up, so that's also probably a part of it. Actually, that's definitely a part of it. That's what that is. No,
yeah, your view distance is rather low.
Yeah.
Our foliage is also all getting a major tweak soon. It should look a lot nicer. I guess actually a little pro tip for you. You're running on a fairly modern setup, right?
Yeah, I am.
I actually recommend setting the game to high settings.
Okay.
That will get you the best balance between performance and the game looking good. For whatever reason, medium and lower, with low being the worst, tends to perform worse on Unreal Engine games for some reason, unless you're running on a very low-end setup.
Yeah, it's immediately brighter.
Yeah, the lighting tends to be a little more aggressive once you have the lighting turned up.
And I found a drink. That's exactly what I was looking for. Says, that's so cool. How you doing? I know you mentioned it because okay, they're just talking amongst each other. But yeah, so I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot that's going to be added, and we'll show the game as much as we can. And like Meta just said, now whenever things are implemented and things are new and changing, that's what I mostly want to show on my channel, because that's what really my channel is. We're covering open world survival games all the time, and mainly with a focus on dead matter. Like most of my people, at least on my YouTube channel, are dead matter people. So it's a big game. We have a lot of encouragement behind it, and I love being a part of it. I try to say that as much as I can, especially straight to you, Meta. I'm super excited to be a part of this game growing and getting into the eyes, into the eyeballs of all these people. It's amazing to be a part of this.
And we're happy to have you on board.
And yeah, I mean, if that's it, I mean, I think
I guess we can show one more thing there. If you open the trash cans, we have been editing item descriptions. So, for instance, I believe there's a bunch of pizza boxes in here. They now have unique descriptions. We've been going through and very aggressively updating descriptions for items, trying to make it more useful, or in some cases where it's a little more silly, just making it more flavorful.
Yeah, so you're talking about where one says Van Pizza and one says Pizza Brothers?
Also the actual text description.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because both I'm noticing, because I don't remember seeing Pizza Brothers before. I just keep seeing Van Pizza. So that's an addition. And then on top of that, you have an old pizza box smells of cheese. And this one says an old pizza box because it's soggy.
And that other one, I believe, actually has an even separate description from them, too.
An old pizza box, it's greasy.
Yeah, they're real tactile and unpleasant. We've put a lot of work into the flavor text. We want people to want to read the items because it's useful to them, and we like to reinforce it by making it interesting to read.
Yeah, is that Reggie that's behind that?
Say again?
I said, is that Reggie that's behind that? Because I know he's always been big on the lore. And I know it's not technically lore, but he's the...
I've actually been writing a lot of them, as well as Dusty did a lot of them.
Oh, wow.
I know there's a certain one I may have done to a particular condiment that some people were really unhappy about, but we're going to keep that.
Yeah. We're good. We got it.
I believe some people may be aware of what I did to the ketchup.
Yes. I think some may be aware. Some are keen on it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. It keeping it fresh, keeping the variance of things, I think is really easy too. Just almost, well, I guess obviously you can't really procedurally generate everything, but anything that can be have variance really to keep it fresh like that, I think is really cool in any survival game like this.
Yeah, and we're trying to sort of give our game its own personality. And when, every now and then your UI is being a little snarky or jokey with you, you can kind of craft the interaction the player has with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, though. High is where it's at, because this is totally different. Yeah, you can feel it very differently. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, this is, I think we've covered a whole bunch of new stuff that not only is already in the game, but also stuff that's coming to the game, and I was excited to do so on my channel, and there's going to be much more of that. Next time, obviously, until next time, I'd love to, reach back out to you with other ideas that I have, and anybody who's in chat right now, you're by no means required to, but I'll leave you a link. If you guys want to join my Discord channel, you can. I have an entire section set up that was already pre-approved where if you're a backer of the game, we have an NDA channel where we have to confirm that you are. You can hop in there and give suggestions for future ideas of things that you guys would like to see in the game, because it's not just about new stuff coming in, but what do you guys want to see? What does the audience, the fans of Dead Matter, actually want to see of its improvement? Do you want to see new buildings? Do you want to see gameplay, combat? Like, what do you guys want to see? So go to the Discord server if you want. You can give suggestions there, and we'll try to make sure that we can answer them in some way, shape, or form. But like I said, with all that being said, I mean, this might be time to part ways. I've really enjoyed having you on the channel today. I've had a lot of fun, Meta, and I think we got to see a lot.
Yeah, no, it's been a great time, and we can definitely talk about future plans and maybe work something out and see what your community'd like to see.
Awesome. Sounds good. So for now then, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to go on a brief pause, put on a Be Right Back scene for you guys that I have planned. It's a little weird, but deal with it. I don't know. And then from there, we're going to go on to actually playing another survival game, Scum. If you guys want to come over and watch and hang out for a little bit, maybe we can talk a little bit more about Dead Matter, as long as it's, NDA approved stuff. I'm not going to give you guys anything, new or anything like that. But if you guys have questions for me or, want to talk at all, come over and, feel free to do so. But for now, thanks, Disseminate. Thanks, Meta. I'll be chatting with you later, man.
For sure.